Hi there! Today I'll be doing a quick tutorial on how to use Blackboard's PlayPosit tool in order to create interactive lecture videos for online, distance learning, and hybrid courses. The first thing that you need to do is record your lecture. There are several different methods and softwares for recording your lectures, and what you use will depend on your own preferences. I use iMovie to create voiced-over slides or to input bulleted slides during pre-recorded interviews with guest speakers. Once you have recorded your lecture video, you'll need to post it somewhere. Typically, I post mine on YouTube, as you can see here. There are several different lectures here from different semesters and different classes, but today we'll only be using one of those. The reason I like to use YouTube to host is because you can keep the visibility unlisted, which, if I hover here, you can see the video is only video to those who have the link. Now there are other options here, like private or public. If you leave the video public though, your students can access the video on their own and fast forward ahead to get the answers to any questions you may embed. So if you're planning on using the questions as a sort of assessment tool that you want to include in the gradebook or for some assessment purposes, you'd want to make sure the video is not public. Now if you choose the private option instead, then PlayPosit can't access the video to host it in the first place. As a result, unlisted is going to be the best option for hosting YouTube videos for making PlayPosit interactive lectures. Another strength about hosting on YouTube is that YouTube automatically generates captions for the videos, making your lectures more accessible to all learners. Now if we go back to Blackboard, this is how PlayPosit looks within the actual add-on tool in Blackboard. If you want to make sure your course actually has PlayPosit available to you, in the instructor view for your class, scroll down to Customization. Within the Customization tab, you'll see Tool Availability. This is where you'll find all the tools your campus has access to on Blackboard. Now the easiest thing to do is use Control F to find PlayPosit within that list. If your campus does not have access to PlayPosit, you can contact the IT department and see what steps need to be taken to either acquire access or gain access for your specific class. Once you have the PlayPosit tool activated for your class, you'll now have the option to create PlayPosit links under the Tools drop-down on Blackboard. Here you can create a title for the link, add a description, and enable evaluation. When evaluation is enabled, you can assign a point value and due date to the PlayPosit assignment, all linked to Blackboard's gradebook. As the instructor, you can choose whether to evaluate based on completion, for instance, did students watch the video in its entirety, or for comprehension, whether or not the students answered the questions correctly. You do this by manipulating the point value of questions, which we'll cover shortly. After creating the link, you can click on it to get to the actual framework within PlayPosit. You can see here that I have a number of different videos linked to different classes. In this case, we're in my psychology capstone class for the fall 2020 semester, which you can tell by the heading. So make sure that you're paying attention to the heading if you're adding multiple bulbs to multiple different classes, just to make sure that you have the right bulb assigned to the right class. When you want to create a new interactive lecture, what you need to do is click on New and select Bulb. If your class has access to PlayPosit, all of your classes get automatically linked here based on the tool activation covered previously. Now if we go back to my bulbs, I see a number of different bulbs here, but the one I want to focus on I've already pulled up. Here we can see that we have a video that's approximately 65 minutes long for a full lecture, which is how long classes are on my campus. I prefer to break this up into smaller, more digestible segments and have a variety of different questions and videos integrated into the lecture itself. First, let's cover how to add different videos. When you create a new bulb in PlayPosit, you'll be prompted to select a video source. If you're using a publicly visible video on YouTube or Vimeo and know the title, you can search for it within PlayPosit. However, since the visibility for my pre-recorded lecture videos is set to unlisted, I need to select Input URL and copy-paste the link from YouTube into PlayPosit. Once you enter or select a valid video source, you can click Customize to add or select captions. If you only want to use a part of the video, you can use the Trim and Crop feature to select only the portion of the video that you want to play. You can also string multiple videos together by clicking the Add Video option again and repeating the same process. After you have a video source, you can then add interactions by clicking on the labeled light bulb next to video segments. PlayPosit provides you with a series of templates to choose from, or you can customize your own interactions by selecting the No Template option. Adding interactions is fairly easy. First, position your cursor to where you want the interaction to take place. Then, click Interaction. As you can see, there are a number of different options for interaction format. Different types of questions, annotations, and quick access to some templates. For this example, I'm going to select a simple multiple choice question. Once your option has been selected, you will be prompted to input required information, in this case, the question and answer options. You can then select the correct answer either by clicking the bubble or by clicking the gear and selecting Mark Correct. Under the advanced options, you have further customization options. I typically leave the first two clicked to pause the video until the learner selects an answer. I also like to randomize the answer order. Your use of the other options may depend on whether you're using the questions to assess completion or comprehension. By clicking on Placement or Customize, you can have the option of where the interactions will appear. If the interaction is on the sidebar, learners will see the interaction with an unobstructed view of the rest of the video playback. However, you can also choose to partially or fully obscure the playback if you want to test recall or recognition of content that's currently on the screen. The last option for interaction customization is timing, which you can either click on directly or click Customize again. Here, you can drag the cursor to where you want the interaction to occur, or click Advance to be able to fine-tune when and for how long the interaction is visible. For this multiple choice example, where the video is paused during the interaction, you probably want the start and end time to be the same. However, when you allow the video to continue playing while the interaction is present, other question types like web embeds and pauses can be used to add more information or your own reactions and commentary to the sidebar without interrupting the lecture video. I typically keep track of when and what interactions I want to place while I'm editing my lecture video, so it saves time once I'm adding the interactions to the video in PlayPosit. Once you've finished creating and customizing your question, click Done. Then you should see a dot appear on the playback bar indicating the position of your question. Now that your question is finished, you can click on the three dots to customize the interaction even further. Here, you can go back to edit the question, adjust the point value for the question, copy the interaction, or add an interaction either immediately before or after the selected one. With difficult questions or concepts that students typically struggle with, I like to add a pause with an explanation of the correct answer immediately after. Now, the addition of questions into pre-recorded lectures is one of my favorite aspects of PlayPosit because it allows students to remain active and reflect some of the face-to-face back and forth of an instructor asking a question and students giving an answer. Once you have all of your questions in your video, click Review along the top. Here, you can edit the title of the bulb and enter learning objectives. You can also adjust the learner's experience by customizing the playback options. I typically allow learners to retake the bulb and view their printable report. Closer to test time, I make previous lecture videos fast-forwardable and allow users to increase the playback speed. This way, they can focus on reviewing their specific struggle areas and skip over the parts that they already understand. The privacy and tags options go hand in hand. These can help with finding and sharing pre-made resources for your class. I typically keep the bulb visible to members of my school/site. Once you've finished all of your selections, click Save, which will add the new bulb to your My Bulbs tab. From here, you can assign the PlayPosit bulb to the link you created in your Blackboard classroom. To do this, click the 3 dots next to the correct video and select Set Bulb Link. From here, you can choose whether you want the learner experience to be self-paced, which is good for asynchronous learning, or a live broadcast, which is good for synchronous sessions. In the drop-down menu, you'll also notice a Preview button, which allows you to preview the bulb as students will see it, along with various other options. One of these options is Monitor, which is a very helpful tool for assessing student completion and comprehension. First, PlayPosit tracks viewership so you can be sure your students are actually watching the videos that you have assigned. Second, you can get a question-by-question breakdown of student performance at a glance, which will allow you to address student and class weaknesses. Another option PlayPosit offers is to download a CSV file with all of the student responses, which can give you more insight into when students watch the video, how long they spent on each question, and includes all previous views. This is quite valuable if you include open-ended questions so you can grade them all at once. Or, I like to include a free response question at the end of my lecture videos, asking for any questions or comments, and, by looking at the CSV, I can see them all at the same time. If you're teaching an asynchronous class, you can make an announcement or a frequently asked questions post in order to address areas of concerns that are voiced by the students. In a synchronous class, you can use some of your live sessions to go over these more difficult concepts in more detail. I hope you found this tutorial helpful. If you have general questions about implementing PlayPosit in your online classroom, you can use the link below to see the ample resources that PlayPosit and Blackboard have available online. For more specific questions, you could contact your campus's IT department or a colleague with experience using PlayPosit. You could also drop a question below, but the others will likely get back to you sooner. If you found this video helpful, feel free to share it with your colleagues. If you think people at other campuses might find it helpful, and I hate to be that person, but please give it a thumbs up so it appears higher in the results when people search for PlayPosit help. Thanks!